High Plains Technology says it's time for school.
Well, looking at the time and looking at the traffic outside, it is time for school. And of course, I'm talking about High Plains Technology Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Brett. Thank you. Katie Shirley with High Plains. And today I have some special guests. I've got Jack Day. He is our wind technician instructor. Jack, give us just a real brief how you got to High Plains and just your brief history before you came there.
Oh, so I had to make that brief. And good morning, by the way. I came to High Plains in the Technology Center in 2011. I was working for Siemens Wind Energy at Keenan 2. Actually, I was managing that side at that point in time. Looking for, just a different opportunity. I enjoyed what I did as a technician, but also as a manager. But I really enjoy being in front of people and sharing my knowledge. So I gained... So I spent a career in the Navy. So after retiring from the Navy is what brought me to Siemens Wind Power and to Woodward, actually. And so I've been with High Plains Technology Center since July of 2011. So,
okay. Yeah. And the wind program started in 2011?
No, actually it started about a year prior to me getting there. So It started off actually as a solar program and then mutated, I guess, is that the right word, into
redirected,
wind. Yeah, redirected. That's a good word.
Okay. And so who is your guest here that you've brought today?
This morning we have Chisholm Kliewer. Chisholm is from Thomas, Oklahoma, and I know he spent some time at OSU, and I think he's going to share a little bit about that and what he hopefully has good things to say about the wind technology program here at High Plains Technology Center. But we want to bring the student point of view to you.
Like Jack said, I'm from Thomas, and I grew up there and went to school there my whole life. And in my time there, I did what a lot of high school students do in smaller schools. I played football. I was involved in FFA, and I kept good grades, and I wanted to go to college. And so I chose Oklahoma State, and I went to Stillwater, and I really enjoyed the experience I had. But the longer I was there, the more I realized maybe I didn't want to get a degree in a field where there was no jobs in Oklahoma, primarily because family's a big deal to me, and I wanted to stay close to home for my family. And through the summers at OSU, I worked at grain elevators, and I realized that I like to be up high, and I like to work with my hands and work hard and lots of hours. And so the more I thought about it, the more I kind of gravitated towards wind. And with that line of thinking, I didn't know where to go. And so I started looking around, and I called my cousin, who is a site manager, and he pointed me in the direction of High Plains. He graduated in 2010 from the wind program here. And I didn't know what to expect coming into the wind program. I don't have an electrical background at all. Like I said, my background's primarily agricultural. And once I got here, I realized that it was more than just climbing and more than just rescues and safety stuff. It was a lot of technical, electrical, and hydraulic experience that I'm gaining in the class, and it totally exceeds my expectations.
That's awesome.
So let's explore, I guess, a little bit more on your expectations. So exactly, what were your expectations when you first came into the program?
I don't know what my expectations were, really. I didn't know what to expect. I thought that I would probably do climbing and get myself in shape and maybe learn a little bit about how the turbine worked, and then I would be sent out into the field with a company and start tightening bolts or whatever they needed me to do, and mostly be on-the-job training. And so the electrical side and the hydraulic side that I've gained here is really, I think, what's going to help me going into the job field.
Right. And so Chisholm, he's really leaning heavy on electrical and the hydraulics right now. That's really where we're at. We're more than halfway through. But we the way the program's modeled is that I modeled off a crawl, walk, run. We have just entered into our run stage. So we're learning each of those components individually: the electrical, the hydraulic, the mechanical, and of course the safety is a big part of it. So what is probably one of the most exciting pieces for you that you've got to do so far?
My favorite thing so far was when we did the evacuation out of the tower there on High Plains campus. I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie, and being up in the air and then going off the side out of the nacelle of the turbine, that was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I figured you were going to say that.
Yeah.
So that everybody loves that part of it. It really is exciting, but it's important for my students, I feel like, that to have as much real life experience as they can get. So whatever I can do to bring that into the classroom, we try really hard to model that. Just like working on a wind farm. So as far as the certifications, we've talked a lot about that. And I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about what certifications, what you've already gained? And then, we just finished up resume building, so you should have a good idea what that looks like. So could you talk more about that?
Yeah, so far I have some certifications for electrical metering safety and basic electrical safety from Fluke. And I have my Global Wind Organization BTT, Basic Technical Training, and BST, Basic Safety Training. I have my Medic First Aid. And as far as what's coming, I have rough terrain forklift, defensive driving, and I don't know what all else we've got coming for us.
Yeah, so we'll have 23 certifications in all upon graduation. And so going back to, we just finished up our resumes, and that was last week, wasn't it? Last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday.
And we went through interviewing techniques. We also we bring a site manager in to do interviews with them. So they just completed that process, and now we're into the job application process. So what is that looking like so far? Can you speak to you and your classmates, what that's starting to look like?
For me, I'm pretty interested in one site, and it was nice because I sent out that one application and then got a reply within an hour and a half from a recruiter, and I'm expecting to get a phone call shortly. And as far as the class goes, I think there's 5 or 6 guys that are all lining up interviews with different companies across the nation, really, as we speak.
Yeah, so it was a pretty quick. If you're a fisherman, that's a pretty good day right off the get go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And the Chisholm, if we can also just step back a little bit. So the process of applying, and can you talk a little bit about what that looks like? I can explain it, but from a prospective applicant to the process that you had to go through to get into the class.
Yeah, to get into the class, it was really pretty simple. I gave them a call from Stillwater, and they put my name on a list, and they called me when they were ready, and we scheduled an interview with Jack, and I came in and interviewed, and then within 2 weeks, I think I knew whether or not I had made the cut, and then started preparing myself to come to the class a couple months down the line.
So everything you kind of planned for is playing out.
Right.
I mean, you would still be, I don't know what year you would be at OSU,
Senior.
and I don't want to put them down, but here you are, you're completing your courses here, already looking at job interviews, and ready to hit the world running.
Right. I'm pretty excited.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it's the most exciting time for me too. Actually, is this is really the metric that I use to measure our success, whether or not we're hitting the mark, and so I think we're doing it.
And now, Jack, so it's 20-week program, and then what is the starting pay for these guys, and what are some of your past students doing right now?
Okay, so great question. So the average pay is, so if you look at the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, a couple things here. So wind and solar are in the top 3 fastest growing occupations, and that's forecast all the way up to 2027 and beyond. Wow. But you can look at a base pay of $50,000. Now I have some former students that are just a year out. I have a couple that are hitting close to 90.
Wow.
They're traveling, so they're young and single and all that stuff. So they're doing really well. And then of course, if you're on a permanent site, if that's the lifestyle you need, and the stability and things of that nature, not traveling as much, a little less, but you still have an opportunity. just great opportunity. There's nothing negative to say about that.
Right. That's incredible. All right. Well, thank you, Chisholm and Jack. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.